Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, it's us.
It's me and him.
Yes, Simon and James.
The Hawkins brothers, purveyors of fine English wines and all that old malarkey.
Yes, here at our shop, It's Secrets in Milford.
Indeed.
And
so the big night for us tonight. We are just about to do our big English wine Easter virtual tasting, and this is just a bit of a preamble before we start tasting at 6, just to make sure everybody can get online and get all settled down with your glasses in front of you and the wine ready.
all 49 of you lucky people out there who've got,
Is that many?
got the pack of 6 wines.
There they are.
Here, all ready to go with your joining instructions. So hopefully you're all tuning in to us on Instagram Live here now.
Absolutely. So yes, we've got 6 wonderful wines to taste. I'm really looking forward to that, and of course we're meeting
Here just behind us.
we're going to be meeting up with all the winemakers, so there's plenty of opportunity for technical hitches and things to go badly wrong. So if they do, please bear with us. We should try and get things sorted as there's just the 2 of us here to push buttons and run backwards and forwards to the phone. So yes, what are we tasting? We've got our own Hawkins Brothers Bacchus, which is made just down the road from here near Petworth, a little village called Stopham. We'll be talking about that.
The Greyfriars Pinot Noir Rosé.
Big favourite of ours.
Yep. Made just up the road on Hogsback at Putnam. The Hoffman and Rathbone Bacchus.
Yes, we'll be talking to Ulrich Hoffman about that.
B612 Pinot Blanc. We'll be talking with Balbina Leeming, winemaker of that. That's made just north of Winchester. And the Westwell Ortega from Kent. We'll be talking to Adrian Pike. And the Simpsons Gravel Castle Chardonnay from Kent. We're talking to Henry Rymill from Simpsons.
Yes, really looking forward to that. So we're counting down the minutes to 6 o'clock when the whole thing will start. But in the meantime, a quick recap of what we've been up to this week.
Yes, what have we been up to?
Well, quite apart from getting all the wine decanted and into boxes and out to you, which was a Herculean task in itself.
Yes.
We've also opened our second shop this week, haven't we?
Yes. Well, it's a concession inside a new deli that's opened in Midhurst in Sussex. So all the wines in there are from Sussex, local to there.
Very much so. Yes.
Yeah, it's a lovely deli.
So I've been down there for the last 3 days, chatting to customers and forcing them at the point of a corkscrew to buy English wine.
Excellent.
So who have we got? Loads of people are joining us, which is nice and lovely to see everybody.
14 so far. Let's hope that all of you will be joining in soon. Come on, guys.
Absolutely. What else can we talk about whilst we're in this little preamble that we've got?
Well, what else has been going on?
Well, you've been here all day.
Yes, we've got a few new things in the shop this week. We have arrived yesterday the Hidden Spring Classic Cuvée 2018. So we're the first people in the country to have this. It's made by David McNally over in Horham in East Sussex. That's absolutely delightful, wonderfully fresh. Has this very cool label that I don't know if you can see. It must have been very difficult to put on, but it goes all the way around like that. And what else is new?
The Mountfield, I suppose.
Yes. Yep. The Mountfield from over in East Sussex as well. Lovely stuff. That's made by Ulrich, who will be talking to a bit later.
Absolutely. Yeah, so the two very, very exciting wines just there. And
Yeah, so all the wine is in these little bottles. We purged all the bottles with argon gas first, which is an inert gas, so no flavour, no smell, no taste.
but it just beautifully preserves the wine, so
Yes,
hopefully the wine will be as it came out of the bottle when you crack the tops of those and pour it into the glass.
Yeah.
So we're experiencing it exactly the same way as you. We've
Yeah.
got the whole 6 bottles in front of us here. So can't wait how long we've got. 4 minutes. What can we talk about for 4 minutes?
So hopefully more of the people will be joining soon. We only seem to have
Well, we're up to 17.
17 so far, but yeah,
Getting there, there we go.
getting there.
It's all ticking up.
Excellent. That's good. Hello, if you've just joined.
Now, for those of you who don't know, the Big English Wine Easter, organised by Jacob Ledley.
Yep, Jacob Ledley of Black Chalk
Wines.
fame. Yeah.
He's done sterling work with this, and it peaks next Saturday, when everyone's encouraged to have a bottle of English wine in front of them and post on social media using the hashtag BEWE, in whatever setting you want to be in. We will. What are we going to be drinking? I think we're going to be drinking the Gravel Castle. I mean, is what we said.
Yes, I think that's what we said we were going to be drinking.
But as part of this, there's a sort of quite a noble. It's not just English wine. There's a noble sort of charity aspect to it, because the hospitality industry has been really badly hit by COVID, as you can imagine, with all the pubs and clubs and restaurants closing for at least the last year. Donations are being made to the Drinks Trust and
Hospitality Action.
Hospitality Action,
Two
which
excellent causes.
support
Very worthy.
workers in the hospitality industry. So we're very proud to be part of that, and donating part of the takings for this towards those beautiful charities.
Yeah. So, how long have we done?
Almost there.
Rosie mentioned us in the story. Yeah, nearly there. So, come on, guys, join up.
If you haven't already, well, you won't be hearing this if you haven't joined up.
Well, no, that's true. Yes.
So well done to those of you who are already here. Yes,
Excellent.
we like the sound of that. So yeah, just for the laggards, the first wine we're going to talk about is our own wine, which made Balbina laugh a lot. There was a word in Spanish for people like us, talking about our own wine first. But it gives a chance for everybody else to catch up and for all the winemakers to be there. And then we go on to Mike's staff at Greyfriars Vineyard. So
Yeah.
plenty of opportunity for tasting some gorgeous, wonderful wines this evening.
Yes.
And if you've not had a selection of English wines, I think we've got a really broad selection for you to try
Yes.
and marvel at.
All still, of course, because we wouldn't be able to send out any of these sparkling samples because they wouldn't be sparkling anymore by the time we got to you. But what was that?
Somebody spending money on
Somebody's spending money. An order. Excellent.
on our Shopify shop, on our
Superb.
online store.
How many have you got now? 28.
Getting there. Good.
Lovely. Jane Hanny. Hello, Jane Hanny. So,
And Aid is there. Aid Wade, good.
excellent.
Wine Time London.
Lovely. So, yeah, 29 we have now.
30. Splendid. Well, it is now 6 o'clock, and I think it's time to crack the first taster bottle. Shall we do that?
Yes, let's do that. It is now...
The witching hour is upon us.
Yes, so let's start the Big English Wine Easter
Yes, and
tasting.
For those of you who just joined us, I'm Simon, and this is James.
We are the
I'm
Hawkins
Ian,
brothers.
and he is him.
And yes,
And this is our English wine shop. We are speaking from
at Secrets in Milford.
in Milford in Surrey. So, without further ado, let's have a little chat about our. Where is it? Where's number one? Hawkins Brothers Bacchus.
Excellent. Yes.
So that's the bottle. Bacchus, for those of you who don't know, is the third most grown grape in England after.
I think it's the fourth now.
Is it really?
Yes. After Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, Pinot Meunier.
Pinot Meunier has overtaken it.
Yes.
This is news to me. In with a bullet.
Yes.
Pinot Meunier.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I've been saying this all wrong all today. So it produces a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc style of wine. So you should be give it a good old swirl around the glass.
Yep. So
don't spin on the floor like that.
don't throw it on the floor like Simon just did. It's ours. This is made by a guy called Simon Woodhead for us down in Stopham, just south of Petworth, sort of between Fittleworth and Pulborough, if that means anything to you, down in West Sussex.
If it doesn't get the atlas out, then you know where it is.
Yeah. So this lovely light pale wine has on the nose elderflower, gooseberries,
Nettles.
Nettles, real sort of English hedgerow stuff going on there. And on the palate, I mean, it's really aromatic. On the palate, lovely and dry, fresh, crisp acidity, really refreshing.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing, I think, with English wines. You're not going to get a flabby English wine. They've got this lovely crispness, that palate cleansing, goes with loads of food, but you're not going to get a nasty coating on your tongue, are you?
No, it's not cloying. It's always going to be refreshing. Simon, our winemaker, has done a fabulous job. He's won lots of prizes for his winemaking, and quite rightly so, which is why we asked him to make this for us. So he's down in the South Downs there, where his vines are grown. It's green sand.
So green sand is just the wash off from chalk, isn't it?
It is, yes. So really good for growing grapes. The vines aren't going to grow too vigorously there. It's lovely free draining soil. So what do you all think of it?
Those who are tasting already.
Those who are tasting already. Hello to you all around the world. I think we've even got some people in Canada tasting. So hello to you.
Yes, I hope the wine arrived and got through customs safely.
well, it said that it did.
It did, yes.
So hopefully it did.
So yeah, whatever time of day it is in Canada.
Yes. Canada, it's probably about midday if they're on the west coast, I should think.
Yes, Vancouver, apparently.
Oh, they're in Vancouver. Oh, right. That'll be another. So it's probably it's probably in the morning there sometime. There's probably about 9 or 10 in the morning.
This is the perfect breakfast wine.
Yes, so the perfect breakfast wine. So hopefully you're having it with your muesli or something.
Pour it on your cornflakes. Why don't you?
Yeah. Why not?
So yeah, I mean, I just love the hedgerow aromas, as you say. I mean, it's just beautifully fragrant, but belies the crispness, doesn't it? The beautiful freshness of that wine.
And this goes really beautifully with asparagus, and when is asparagus season? That's fairly soon, isn't it?
Yeah.
It starts in April.
So
I'm very much looking forward to that. You need a wine with good acidity like this to handle those strong umami flavours you get in asparagus.
Yes, I say umami when I use asparagus.
Yes, well, that's good, or maybe afterwards, but we won't go into that. Yes, so hope you're all enjoying that at home.
Yes, that was
and if you're not, I hope you're learning something about English wine. Anyway, so right, so we've got plenty of people watching. That's good.
That's excellent.
So
it's Calgary. There we go.
Calgary.
Yes, not Vancouver. Yes, if it's gone to Vancouver, it's gone to the wrong place.
Right, but, well, I hope you've got it in Calgary anyway. So, well, that's ours.
Yes, splendid.
So, shall we move on to our second one and invite Mike to join us?
Mike Westhoff, yes, indeed.
Over at Greyfriars. So, hello, well-being, body and mind.
Which button are you pressing there, James?
I don't know. I think it's that one. No, it's not. It's that one. There we are, Greyfriars.
Yep, that's it. Put
See
your glasses
that
on. What's it gonna...
Just sent the invitation to Mike Wagstaff at Greyfriars will be joining us very shortly, with any luck. There you are, Mike. How are you?
I am absolutely fine. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Seeing you both, we're all in the desperate need of a haircut club. roll on the 12th of April.
Absolutely.
And go and see our barber and make ourselves look a little bit more respectable. Unless, of course, you're trying to grow it out.
I've had various messages from my mother saying, please don't cut your hair, darling, it looks so wonderful. So I'm definitely cutting it.
I think I might be going for a number 2 or something like that, just in case there's another lockdown very quickly. Yes.
Exactly. Anyway, firstly, thank you very much for hosting this event, and thank you very much for inviting me to take part. As probably everyone knows, both of you have been huge supporters of English wine since you started. I think we've been working with you since almost the first day you opened, which was in 2015.
Yes.
For quite a while, you were the only specialist retailer of English wine in the country, and have stuck it out through thick and thin. So I think
There are others.
the whole be thankful to you for that support and for championing our fantastic juice. So
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thanks for hosting this. It's all in a good cause, and hopefully people will enjoy it and go out and try some English wine. I think it's a great idea to send out little tasting bottles, because trying to drink 5 bottles in one go, or 6 bottles in one go, would be quite an evening. So I've got a full one.
Excellent. So there we go. This is what we're going to be trying.
Yeah.
What was out there? So
I thought, since we were getting towards the end of March and getting close to Easter, that we are at the start of the rosé drinking season. So I thought it would be appropriate to bring out our still rosé to try tonight. The wine that we're trying is the 2019. For the last few years, we've produced a still rosé. We have deliberately, it's usually 100% Pinot Noir. There was one year where we had a little bit of Chardonnay in it to give it a bit of freshness in 2018. But this particular wine is 100% Pinot Noir from 2019. We manage at the end of our Monk's Hatch plot the Pinot Noir there specifically for our still rosé. So we fruit thin it a bit more, we manage it differently, and we try and pick it as late as possible to get as much ripeness as we possibly can. As I think everyone knows, most of our production is sparkling wine. And it seems to be getting better and better. We bottled our 2020 vintage a couple of weeks ago, and that is really, really good as well. As obviously everyone will remember, 2020 was a great year. 2019 was a good year, not as awesome as 2018 or 2020, but still a great year. This wine, as you can see, is a very delicate pale color. Everybody, including yourselves, tell us that when it comes to still rosé, there's 2 things that sell it. One is the color. The other is the being able to see it in a nice sexy bottle. So this is the only one, clear bottle. The 2019, which we bottled last year, this was not the bottle that we intended. We got caught up in COVID bottle shortages, so it was a slightly less exciting bottle than we might have expected. But the wine is great. So for those of you who've got it, let's have a taste. So this is perfect spring, summer, autumn, even winter drinking, either for just sitting out on the terrace and enjoying it in the sun. I was hoping to film this outdoors tonight, but it started raining where I am, and it's looking a bit grim. So I'm actually inside. But it is unashamedly, this is not designed to be particularly intellectual or sophisticated. It's just designed to be fun, fresh, fruity, bring out the Pinot Noir characteristics, the lovely berry characteristics, which I think makes it more interesting actually than a lot of Provence rosés, which tend to be from big, heavy and less interesting grapes. And, it's fantastic. I love it. I'm not sure there's much more to say about it apart from cheers.
Yeah, but
hope
cheers, but it has
all
no residual sugar, does it?
No, it's bone dry.
Sorry?
It's bone dry.
Bone dry, yes. It's as dry as it can possibly be. So it's 95 a day.
Wow.
So if you like your rosé super dry, this is definitely the way forward. Light, juicy, delicious, and wonderfully refreshing.
Yep. All we need is a little bit of sun, and as you say, like it's coming on to that rosé season. I think we sold more rosé today than we have done in the whole of the winter. It's been everyone's been out there buying, possibly in anticipation.
Well, hopefully, yeah. Well, it's going to be 20+ degrees next week, so that's good for rolling into Easter. Everyone's going to get their sunny heads on and start drinking rosé. So.
Yes. Do you worry that temperature will sort of bring forward bud-burst too early?
I hope not, because then of course we start to be at risk from frost. We're on track at the moment. We finished pruning a couple of weeks ago, the end of about 10 days into March. We've literally started tying down the canes this week. The wines have all got nice, soft and supple. That'll take us a couple of weeks. In the meantime, then we got to mow the vineyard and we'll get our bougies out, our frost protection. And after budburst, we have a nervous 4 or 5 weeks praying that we won't have any frost. Really hot weather in March is not great because the vines get all excited and come back to life. And then we sit there, and the worst year for that was 2012, where we had about 23 degrees for a few days in the middle of March. The vines came to life and promptly got whopped by frost. So it's not, fingers crossed. It's good. It's dry, mostly because the boys out in the vineyard go faster and are happier, less grumpy. They're much happier when it's sunny and dry, and the place is starting to come back to life and looks beautiful. So we're also getting very excited because we're going to open up again the week of the 12th of April. We'll start doing our tours outdoors, and in May, when we can all start to go to hospitality indoors, we're going to be able to open our brand new tasting room. So all in all, very excited. It's very busy. We're rushing around like headless chickens trying to make the vineyard and the winery and the tasting room all look super duper. Can't wait to see people as soon as you can. So
we got a new tasting room is really cool and looks absolutely amazing. So I mean, you must be very excited about that. And for those people who don't know, Mike's Vineyard is the closest to us, only 3 miles away, just south of Guildford, on the Hog's Back.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just a hop, skip, and a jump for us, and we're off from there.
And for anybody else who's in the area, really.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
so can't wait to see you. Check out our website for what's going on down at the vineyard. There's a whole bunch of stuff ranging from tours. We've got some other special events. We've even got yoga in the vineyard starting in April. I'm sorry, Simon, you can't come because you don't look good in lycra.
Who's been talking? I do a very good downward-facing dog.
Yes, and all the other positions that I can't possibly manage to at all. So it's great. No, we're helping out the yoga studio, Ebb and Flow down in Farnham, who we've done a couple of events with before. We're actually enabling them to do some physical classes rather than online before they can physically open. So I think they're doing some Saturday morning yogas on our deck, which will be exciting. So.
Great stuff. Well, wonderful. Well, we look forward to that. Look forward to reopening. Thanks very much indeed, Mike. We'll see you soon.
Thanks again for inviting us to join. Happy Easter. It's a great selection of wines tonight. I like all of the ones that I've tasted so far. And good luck with the rest of the evening.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, Mike. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Right. Wonderful. So, moving swiftly on. Bye, Mike.
Hi. Will you cut me off?
No, you cut yourself off. Press the button that says end or X. Something like that. There we go. There we are. Well, there we had. Relatively hit screen. That was a good one. So next we've got Ulrich Hoffmann. So if you could send us a request, or we're going to send him one, or we can send you one. That would be brilliant. Bear with us 1 second whilst we. Ulrich Thielmann. No, that's not him. No. There we go. Okay, that disappeared. There we go. Right, sending Ulrich the request now. So, well,
good.
It's been a great. How are you? That was so quick.
It doesn't work. It's face.
Yes. Yes, good. You're perfectly positioned.
Perfect. Good. You believe me or not, it's my first.
Excellent.
It's always a little bit tricky to do those things with sparkling wines, as you mentioned before. You can't really ship them around, or it's the still wines are the big winners here. But yeah. How are you? Well, I think you're all right. You both.
We're very, very good. How are you? Yeah. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Yeah. Thanks very much. For having us tonight, and thanks very much for everyone joining us as well, and for a good cause. Don't forget that. Big Easter wine, English big Easter thing going on in the background. So some vineyards are doing some good mixed cases for sale. Somewhere I've seen that on social media. So get bidding.
There's a raffle going on as well. All sorts of amazing things. Great British Wine are doing and YGB are doing a raffle.
Yeah, fantastic. So, yeah. Well, thanks again very much. It would have been great to do it, face to face. That's what we're all missing. And again, thank you for organizing this. I'm gonna come straight to it. I think. Can you do a little quick introduction of yourself and tell the viewers who you are and what you do? Yeah, sure. I mean, we are, as many know as well, we are traditionally an English sparkling wine house. The thing with the kind of little small lots of still wines we produce, happened by chance, and I really enjoyed doing them as part of, keeping excitement going, helping our brand to, come to other markets as well. And it keeps me not getting company blind. It's always something else exciting that I can play around with in the winery, and to keep a wider horizon on things. And here we go with another English Bacchus, and that's exactly the key. That you kind of that every Bacchus, that's why I love the varietal, because it's so, you know, it really comes down to customer preference then, because it can shape in so many forms. And well, it's always rather liquid, but you know, you can just really shape and create something with it, and bring it in so many different varieties out there. Yeah, I actually got I got the bottle here as well, but I ordered the case in as well, you know, to make sure, you know, it's up to scratch. but I can tell you, it's exactly as you said. You purchased it, and it just tastes straight out of the bottle. Well done, well done.
Very glad to hear.
It's good. It's a learning curve for me as well to see those things, you know, once they get open and shipped around, and how it all works. But yeah, so we're tasting 2019 Bacchus. I just gonna start with a little bit about the wine itself.
Okay.
And then I explain a little bit. You know, I'm a winemaker at heart, so I'm going to explain a little bit how we make it. If I get too technical at times around, you just push the X button and cut me out. But yeah, so I mean, I'm always trying to make all our wines, including the sparkling wines, to be a bit more viscous, a little bit more richer. You know, not trying to make delicate little things that fall apart easy, but kind of because we are still a marginal climate, so I'm just trying to make them a bit more international wine style worthy, you know, and with all respect to every producer, it's just what we do, what I'm trying to do. But as well, I mean, this is it's you know, it's clear and bright, quite a characterful nose. You know, you get the classic Bacchus stuff, like, you know, the elderflower, a bit of hedgerow, not so quite nettle. I mean, and that's again coming back to your style. You're a bit more actually, you know, the Sauvignon Blanc you mentioned there, that kind of direction style. I'm trying to get totally away from that and get a bit more into the maybe pear, stone fruit, you know, white peach, that kind of a bit more away from that kind of classic English hedgerow. Nettle
style.
Yeah. So yes, elderflower. And
you've certainly got the stone fruit coming through on that.
When you taste it, you have, it's quite a complex palate. You get this lime citrus, you know, all the initial Bacchus classic things are there. Again, stone fruit shows, maybe a hint of tropical fruit. Those kind of things. Fresh acidity is still there. And I hope you find as well there's quite a generous mouthfeel. That's I'm always aiming for, and some good minerality in there as well.
Yes.
Rather, I always call it like a rather Moorish, you know, more international style. That's how I would describe it, as a great for patio, and you know, summer's coming hopefully. But And
how do you achieve that viscosity you've got with this?
Yeah. So and now I start rambling on. Well, I mean, you know, one thing is that, you know, it's more or less 100%. Well, it's not. I can't say 100% barrel ferment, because around 20% of it is fermented in terracotta egg, so like an egg-shaped vessel. Yeah, like I said, I mean, for me, the key is generating body. You know, if I always succeed to a certain level. For some say, well, it's not more than others or whatever. But for me, for the Bacchus, for the grapes I have, and so one thing is, you know, to achieve this, like perfectly ripe grapes first of all, and also the winemaking tools I have. You know, and we're not talking industrial manufacturing, but we're talking about oak or terracotta, and we talk about oxygen or not, and those kind of things. And for me, Bacchus is a varietal that will always be, we call it, you know, fruity and quite varietal specific on the nose, but you know, a lot of people struggling with you know, keeping that going through you know, keeping that in the body, and you know, and forcing the body a bit more. And so I don't bother about the aromas on the nose, because they're going to be there somehow anyway. But you know, we kind of I do a lot of cold fermentation, quite cold fermentation, to keep kind of to preserve what was given to me. You know, it kind of keeps really the aromas there. And then there comes the body, which is most important for me. And a couple of things to achieve the goal is to, what we do is barrel fermenting. So like there's no stainless steel involved in this Bacchus. And we use big formats of 600 liter compared to 225 liter barriques. We use 600 liter German oak barrels. They are all used. So it's not about the oak. It's just about that kind of micro-oxidation, that kind of maturity that comes with the barrel fermentation. And so yeah, and this, you know, the surface area is reduced with the bigger barrels. So it's a fine micro-oxidation that kind of gives a little bit of maturity to the wine, and you know, and so that kind of gives also substance to it. We use German oak. You know, heritage dictates that a little bit, but it's not that I think, you know, German oak or French oak or American oak or whatever. It's just I just like it. So it's, yeah, because, you know, Bacchus is also a German variety, Germanic variety, let's call it like this. But I mean, we use different things. Also, it gets more complicated. So with the oak kind of side or the wood side, you know, the oak we use, that gives kind of like the sweetness, I call it, without obviously being sweet or sugary or anything, but it gives some, even if there's no oak flavor left, it kind of gives maturity, and I always call it a bit of sweetness. And we also use acacia wood. And yeah, and acacia is really like a fine seasoning, and it really kind of keeps it fresh and fruity. But again, it's being wood, giving also a bit of maturity in there. And then the other oak, or the other wood we use is chestnut. So chestnut barrels. And all we all talk 600 liter big barrels. I'm okay.
I'm trying to read something on the screen that somebody said.
Okay. So we also use chestnut. You know, like I say, it gets really complicated. We also use chestnut, but chestnut is also a nice tool because it has all the qualities of wood, or it has all the qualities of oak, but not tasting of oak. So it's well, it has qualities of wood, but not tasting of oak. That's the point I'm trying to make. So again, you know, it's about reducing that kind of oak impact, and it really kind of works well with the Bacchus, because the Bacchus sometimes, you know, like it has quite thick skins, and you get a little bit of not meant in a negative way, but bitterness coming through with if you work it too hard, it gets quite extreme. But the chestnut wood can really deal with that. You know, it kind of helps the wine. And then the terracotta egg with this, which is beautiful. I mean, it's all about, we're not biodynamic and we're not organic classified or anything, but the egg shape is still this biodynamic kind of natural kind of vessel shape, and you can actually see it when it's fermenting. It kind of, because of the egg shape, the yeast wants to sit on the bottom and bubbles up towards the top. Because of the egg shape, it creates a vortex, you know, never-ending vortex going in, you know, fermenting like this, or maybe the other way around. But so the yeast is always moving, you know, throughout the whole time, and you can really see that when you look into the top, and that kind of, you know, really releases. Especially towards the end when they start to die off, kind of release, you know, the good things that come from the yeast, you know, enzymes and that gives some smell, some richness to the wine. And yeah, and on top of it, you know, we do 8 weeks, 8 months of weekly batonnage, mix it up, get the dead yeast to, you know, release their cells and give a little bit more of that. And yeah, and then at the end, we hope something beautiful like this comes out of it. And like I say, you know, that's the only reason why I do this still, was because I get so much, you know, time to play around with things. So yeah, I really enjoy that.
Well, it is lovely wine, and it has a great following. It really does. As you know, this always sells well. So somebody was saying with all that oak that it must have been expensive wine, and it's not terribly expensive. £20 a bottle. So it's not. Reasonably priced for what it is, I think.
Yeah, I think we have to be. I think it's deal. Yeah, I think we have to be realistic about this, and you know how much. You know, it's a young. You know, there's lots of demand. It's a young, evolving industry, but you know, there's costs you put into making a wine, but you know, just because you know somebody else is charging another price, you know, you just can't, you know, copy things. You know, you have to be, you know, mirroring what you think you know, it's business. But no, I think it's great value for money, yeah, I really enjoy this 2019 Bacchus. 2020 Bacchus, last year's vintage, is in the making. So we're bottling in mid-May. So we're getting to it's kind of weird, this COVID thing, that, you know, it's so quiet out there in terms of sales, as you might know. I mean, you have more direct customers, but on the other hand, it's very busy in the cellar right now, and you know, it's quite challenging. But 2020 is in the making, and yeah, it's again, we always produce around 3,000 bottles. We keep it to that, yeah, that's going to be another cracker, because 2020 was a fantastic year that wasn't showing from the beginning to be good like 18, but it kind of rather grew on us, and at the end it just turned out to be beautiful. A very ripe year. It's going to be good stuff coming from all producers.
Looking forward to tasting that as well. But
thank you very much indeed for joining us.
We need to press on.
I know. You do your stuff. I will join in with the rest and see.
Good stuff. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks very much.
Love to join
you
us
in person very soon. You have to.
Okay.
You have to
Take care,
because I don't know how it works.
The
X.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave completely. Bye.
Oh no. You can always reach off. There we go. Thank you very much, everyone. Wonderful. Really, really flush of wine. Great winemaker. And beautifully designed bottle. I mean, look at this total coffee. I mean, great wine, great label. A lot of people buy it just for the label, but hey, whatever. So, who have we got up?
We've got Bina. Yes. Here we go.
Oh, right.
And she's on the money. Oh, I mean,
Excellent. Here we go. Okay. So next up we have Balbina Leeming with a B612 Pinot Blanc from just north of Winchester, Lone Farm Vineyard. So hopefully Balbina will join us any second now.
absolutely. Well, it's actually made by the same winemaker as our Bacchus, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. Balbina and Simon make it together.
Yeah.
So bit of a connection there. It's a fairly small scene, the English wine scene. So we all know each other very well. Only 895 vineyards in the country, according to Stephen Skelton. So
Let's see if that's working.
yeah,
Let's do that again. He's not letting you in. Okay, we'll try again, Balbina.
here we go.
And no, he isn't able to join. We'll try again.
Here we go. Let's try Balbina again. The request has been sent.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Hopefully, any second now, we will have lovely Balbina joining us. So yes, this is what we'll be tasting. Look at that beautiful label. I'm sure Balbina will explain exactly why.
It's called B612.
Ah, there she
Hi.
is. Hi. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
I was trying to be on the money, which is, it takes me back a few years, but my previous life. But, I was so excited. I'm enjoying it so much so far that it wasn't working. I don't know what happened. Can you hear me well?
We can hear you well. We can see you clearly.
10-10. Yep.
Brilliant. That's excellent. But yeah, well, thank you for having me. This is very exciting. I can see that, yes, we share that and we have that in common, that Simon is the magician that helps us have our wines, or bring our wines to life in a way. Yes. And what we're trying today is the Pinot Blanc 2018. Which we've got here.
Wine number 4 on your list, people?
I think 2018 was the year that everybody decided that still wine was also a good thing to have in England because it was the year of the bumper crops everywhere. It was such a good season for everybody that I think, you know, it was going to be that year of trying and testing. But our first vintage was 2017. And just to give you a comparison of what the difference was between one and the other, we have a small vineyard, a micro vineyard. It's only the 2 acres of it, and it's all 100% Pinot Blanc. And the first year we produced 636 bottles. And the second year, which is this year, 2018, it was 2,500 bottles, so 4 times as much. And so it was a fantastic year. It was so good. I got all excited. The first year we did Friends and Family Harvest in 2017 and just got a few people from around here to help on the harvest. And the second year I thought, oh my God, you know, some of you may know that I'm half Spanish and half Venezuelan, and my Venezuelan family lives in Miami at the moment, and they all booked flights to come harvest. In 2018, I was so excited. So my father is 5 brothers, so you can imagine, you know, what was going on in the house. It was a fantastic year, and we got frost at the end of September. And I got a little bit panicky. It's one of those things that, you know, when you get to this industry in the UK and it's so unpredictable in a way, there is no one season that is the same as the other in a way, that I thought I just need to pick all of this. So I picked about 3 days before my whole family arrived. So we ended up having a massive barbecue with no picking anyway. But we spent about 12 hours picking the 2 acres that I had. And going back to the winery in West Sussex at Stopham, twice with a 6.5 tonner lorry. So it was an exciting year. And I think the wine reflects it in a way. It is, I don't know, if you, for me, it has this citrus aroma. And it reminds me of growing up in a way, because it reminds me of, and I think I've said this before, but it's just what it is when you have a pink grapefruit and then you cut the skin, and that aroma that comes out from the pink skin, that's the first thing that hits me. And it's acidic, but it is floral at the same time. It's a really nice first impression of the wine. And then obviously then you try it. I mean, I love it. I can't, you know, that's what I decided Pinot Blanc was going to be, the whole vineyard. But I don't know for you, is this like a combination of sort of stone fruit, like apricot type of fruit, and then a little bit of like pears as well, and it's so balanced. I mean, it's only 11.5% alcohol, which makes it fantastic. You know, what else can I say? But I tell you, you make me laugh again today about that expression, that when you said that you were going to introduce your wine first. The Spanish expression is, the translation of it. Well, the Spanish expression is el burro delante para que no se espante, which means that the donkey goes first so that he doesn't get scared. So that's the expression. And this is a little bit like me talking this way about the wine. It just feels like blowing my own trumpet or something like that. That's the English way of saying it, isn't it? What else can I say? But it's just true for me. It has that stone fruit, that pear, and what I find fascinating is that the finish is nutty, is got that cashew nuts, and I don't know whether it's the balance that it has been achieved with the acidity, and that also, you know, the wine was in tank, fermented in stainless steel tanks, but the fermentation took about 2 months to start with. There was no malolactic. It was, you know, we didn't go for malolactic because it's such a delicate grape anyway. And but then we only bottled it in September. And if you know Simon, you know, this year it's probably going to be a little bit different because you need to hurry up, and then the business has grown quite a little bit since, you know, we started. And but it was sort of like since March, he would say, we're going to bottle next week. And I'm like, no, we're not. We're going to bottle next week. No, we're not. And ended up bottling in September because you need to leave the tanks empty for the next harvest to come in. Otherwise, you don't have space. But it is. Yes, exactly. But it is, I think it's a very gastronomic wine because you can have it on its own. You can have it as a starter, and you can have it with your main as well. And it's such a balanced and well-rounded one that it just makes it easy to drink. And I just thought that Pinot Blanc is underrepresented. Probably I will regret saying this, and then now everybody starts planting Pinot Blanc in the UK. But I think it's just a little bit like the underdog, and I just like that challenge. I thought, Tom is Simon's right-hand man, and he's always said that Simon prefers a Pinot Gris as a variety, but I think the Pinot Blanc is so much more elegant in a way, and it just keeps giving as well. It's got that long finish without being abrasive, in a very elegant and delicate way, but without being undertoned. It has that richness. So I hope people like it because I absolutely adore it.
Yeah, we really love it. We're big fans, as you know. The reason why we had it.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, at the moment we're sort of about to finish the pruning. I've got 3 rows to go, and I can't wait. I started pruning at the end of February, 26th of February. But it is me, myself, and I, and so I just do it in a very sort of measured way because it's quite hard work. But it is a very specialist work. It's one of the favorite things that I have about the viticulture. I mean, the winemaking is magic because you can't possibly, after having taken care of all, of these vines, and I call them my babies because I haven't got children, so they're my girls. And, for such a long time, and suddenly what you do is you do the harvest, take it straight to the winery. It gets this wine in particular. We press the grapes slightly crushed and destemmed. So, but the 2020 one we have pressed whole bunch. So it would be really interesting to see, what comes out of it and what the versatility is of the Pinot Blanc, which is what I want to bring out. I want to bring out that versatility.
But that's not going to be bottled until September.
Well, no, I probably get hurried up this year. I did say that. I saw Tom a couple of last week, and I said, oh well, I'm happy. There is a little bit of a problem, I think, with Brexit in terms of like maneuvering a little bit all the things that the providers from Europe and how you get all the materials that you need to finish up the wine in terms of bottles, caps, etc. So I think this year we have to be a bit more organized. But as far as I'm concerned, the longer it stays in the tank, for me, it is fine because it does have that capacity. But also, when you bottle it, you've got to let it age in the bottle as well. So, you know, in a way, I think for me, it doesn't bother me at all that it spends a long time in the tank until, but it has to be the right tank. You have got to be, you know, I have to taste it and taste it and taste it again until you're happy with it. You have to let it do its thing, which is, you know,
Brilliant.
What I believe in. So
wonderful. Well, we look forward to trying it when it finally comes out.
Very much so.
Thank
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for letting us try this.
thank
beautiful
you.
wine.
Thank you for organising it and for having me. It's brilliant. I really,
pleasure.
you know.
Always lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you.
Hopefully see you again soon. And
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
cheers.
cheers.
Take care.
Excellent. Excellent. Now, for those of you who didn't know, Albina mentioned malolactic, which may have gone over a couple of you people's heads. So I thought I'd give you a quick lowdown on what that is. That's where it's the conversion of the slightly harsher malic acid into lactic acid, which is a softer and more. Well, it goes easier on the taste buds. Some people do it, but by the addition of a bacteria, but a lot of winemakers don't, and this hasn't gone through the malic acid, so the malolactic fermentation. So it is quite
It just happens naturally.
Yes.
You leave the wine by itself anyway. So anyway, moving swiftly on. Who's next? Well, we've got Adrian Pike from Westwell.
Shall we see if we can find Adrian?
Yes, let's see if we can find Adrian.
What's he under? Westwell?
Westwell.
There he is.
There we are. Let's invite Adrian.
Good.
There we go. And hit return.
With that, there we go.
That's
what we wanted.
Get to see my eye very close up there.
So, hopefully we'll be joined by Adrian very shortly.
There's America from Westwood. They're saying hello.
Hello, America.
Hello, America. Looking forward to having your wines delivered next week.
Excellent. So, Adrian from Westwell in Kent. Yes. So we're tasting the Ortega 2019 Classic Ferment next.
So yes, I mean, Balvin was talking about underrepresented grapes, and Ortega is certainly one of those. You don't get many of them
to the pound.
No.
I don't know where.
Let's see where we're going on there. Invited. Okay, good. It's all happening. We're just waiting for
Adrian to join.
Oh yes, there he goes. He's sent us a request as well.
Lovely.
Hey,
Hi, Adrian. How are you, there, boy?
how you doing, gents?
Excellent.
Very good.
Nice to see you.
And you. It's been great listening to these people so far.
Good. Glad to hear it. You've been enjoying the wines?
Yeah, the ones I've tried I have, yeah.
Excellent. Glad to hear it. How are things in the vineyard today?
Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. We've finished pruning, so we're tying down at the moment. We've got a 2018 and 2019 plantings that we're looking after at the moment. We've done most of the established vineyard, so looking after the young'uns.
Sure. So, and you're transitioning to become organic, aren't you?
Well, we're on the way to, yeah. Both Marcus and I trained with Will Davenport at Davenport Vineyards, which is totally organic. But when we took over at Westwell, it was farmed completely conventionally. So we've been moving towards organics. cutting sprays, and I think we're on a 4-year plan at the moment to remove herbicide completely. That involves using a small amount on a quarter of the vineyard, and using compost and various mulches and cover crops on the rest, and then using undervine cultivation. So we're basically trying to work out what the best method for our soil is.
Right.
And obviously, as we, we're new to the vineyard. We need to go over in 2017. We've just been learning about how best to do that. So we're partway through that path. Within a couple of years, we're hoping to be completely herbicide free, and to use, trying to work out exactly what to use. It's a thorny subject because as soon as you do undervine cultivation, you obviously disturb the soil, whereas when you're using herbicide, you're not disturbing the soil. So trying to build up the microbiology in the soil to look after the plants is one thing, but obviously not using herbicide is another. And it's a constant balance, as everything is in the vineyard and in the winery. It's a constant balance, trying to work out what to do. Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. Well, today we are tasting your wonderful Ortega 2019.
Yeah. I've got some here. I mean, we're primarily known as a sparkling wine producer. We make our Pellegrin is probably the wine that we make most of, but we've also got Ortega, and we make our sparkling wine from Burgundy clones. So we've got Burgundy clones of Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. So in a good year like 2018, we were able to make still wine with both of those clones as well. So we're making sparkling and still, but with the Ortega, so one of the reasons that we took over at Westwell was I absolutely love Ortega. It's one of the major parts of Will's Horsmoden dry blend that I'm sure you're aware of, and it was always my favourite grape in the vineyard. And when we found out that Westwell had 4 acres, I was incredibly keen to get in there. So far we've made, I think we've made 6 different wines with Ortega. We make a pet nat. We make a skin contact that's fermented in stainless steel but on skins for 3 weeks. We do an amphora aged wine, which is fermented in a 500-litre terracotta pot. And we also made a piquette with it last year that we were very excited about and then told we couldn't sell. So we'll be exploring that further another time.
How much of that did you make?
Let's not go there.
So to explain, I don't know what a piquette is, and I'm sure that maybe people out there who don't know what.
Oh, okay. Well, so it's do you know what a saison is with beer? The kind of slightly sour.
Yeah.
In France and throughout the Mediterranean, actually, used to make saison as something to give to the workers who are picking hops and working in the farms, and a piquette is kind of like it's basically the wine equivalent of that. So you take your pressed grapes and you soak them in water and allow them to ferment in water. So it basically takes out some of the extra flavour that you'd leave in the skins. So the reason I started making it is because we're trying to do everything that we can do to be sustainable. We sell the Ortega that we're drinking at the moment in kegs, so it goes to restaurants in 20-litre kegs rather than in bottles, which has got a much lower kind of ecological impact. And the reason we were doing piquette is rather than only using the pressed grapes to go back into compost on the soil, which we do already, we thought we could have a go at making another drink from it, as they used to do in France. So you basically leave it to ferment and then you press it and you take out that kind of pressed fraction, and it's a much lower alcohol because it's a blend of the juice, the skins and water. You let it ferment once, and then towards the end of fermentation you add honey and bottle it, and you end up with a light sparkling drink, which is really refreshing and has a touch of like skin contact, a touch of the flavour of the Ortega, and some really nice kind of aromatics from the honey. So it's a really interesting drink, but it's apparently illegal in the EU. So it's illegal.
So when you're allowed to, you'll be having a big party with that.
Yeah, so we've had a couple.
Anyway, on to the Ortega. Tell us about this, please.
So this is our kind of our straight dry white. Ortega's got some really interesting flavors. The things for me that I find fascinating is it's got this kind of bitter orange thing going on in the kind of mid palate, and depending on how you ferment it, you get different aspects of that. And kind of if you do a really nice kind of core fermentation, you can lose the kind of pithiness, but you still keep some of the kind of bitter orange flavour. So you get kind of grapefruit up front, you get this kind of bitter orange finish, and in the middle you get this kind of quite kind of warm stone fruity mid palate.
Yeah.
And that's what we've tried to do with this.
Yeah, you've got that lovely sort of earthiness in the middle.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's got a real there's a real salinity there that goes really well with seafood. I've actually just been eating it with some steamed clams just for tea. So it was a good excuse to open the bottle.
A little oiliness to it as well, which I love. Yeah. That lovely minerality. Well.
Yeah, exactly. That minerality and salinity. It's just, our soil is based over chalk, but we've got loads of flint in the soil. It's kind of like a silty loam with loads of flint and loads of chalk. And I think that minerality comes out in the wine, or the salinity definitely does. I think it's one of the things that you can kind of spot in nearly all of our wines, is that salinity kind of runs through them all. Yeah, it's tasting good. I mean, 19 was an interesting harvest. I think people have already mentioned it was basically raining throughout harvest. So it wasn't one of the ones that everyone's going to cherish in years to come, I don't think. But it still produced some fantastic wine.
No, but I really want some clams, steamed clams now.
Yeah, with a little bit of chorizo. It's delicious. Yeah, happy with that. The labels, all of our Westwell labels are hand drawn by my wife, who's a graphic designer. And this is from a piece of pruning wood from the Ortega. Kind of cut through. We sent to a guy in Switzerland, a doctor who researches wood in Switzerland, and he put it under a microscope and sent us some fantastic pictures. And she's hand drawn that on there, which is quite.
It's really cool. All your labels are really cool.
Oh, thank you. We've got. I can't see it.
Go on, show us another.
Well, I'll show you. Hang on one sec. Don't worry. So this is the this is the Pet Nat, and Gal's just finished. We're doing a version of the Pet Nat which is based on our Pellegrin. So it's made with Chardonnay, Pinot Meunier, and Pinot Noir, and she's just done a new drawing of this, but I can't find it. So you have to do with that one.
But that's very cool as well.
It's Bacchus looking annoyed because it's not got Bacchus in the bottle.
Somebody asked a question. Just go check. Well, Simon's just gone off to answer a question. what were the questions, then? Tell me, I should know. You were. Okay.
Oh, someone's just asked how much.
I'll
leave you guys to answer that one.
£16 a bottle. Answer £16 a bottle. Very reasonable.
Perfect. Perfect. Good. So, what else are you doing for the big English weekend, Easter weekend?
Well, next weekend we're going to be tasting that the Fitton Travel Castle, which we just got.
Okay, great. I'm doing a tasting next Friday with Dermot from Sugru and with Sergio from Black Books as well.
Cool. Wow, yeah.
Should be fun.
That'll be good. That should be very interesting.
Cool.
But that's brilliant. Thank you very much.
No problem at all. Thanks for inviting me. I really appreciate it. And I'll hope for it's Charles coming on in a second.
Henry is.
Oh,
Henry Reynolds.
All right. Well, I'll stay and listen to that. Good to speak to you both.
Quick question before we go. When are we going to get some more of your philosopher?
There's a few. There's some interesting things coming with that. I think one of the possible ways of getting around the legality of Piquette is to freeze grapes, and the philosopher was made by freezing Ortega and taking the juice that comes from freezing and using that incredibly sweet juice to make a dessert wine. You can then use the water that's produced from freezing the grapes to then make Piquette with, and that takes some of the flavour from the inside of the grape, from the skins. You can then use that water to create another product which could be similar to Piquette. So it's an idea that we're looking at the moment.
Okay.
So
Brilliant. Brilliant. Wonderful. Thanks, Eric. Good to see you. Nice to see you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Right. For those of you who don't know, the philosopher was Adrian's absolutely wonderful dessert wine that he made, which is just glorious. But hopefully we'll get it again very, very soon. Yes. Right now. Who are we on to next? We're on to wine number 6.
Wine number 6.
The Gravel Castle.
The Gravel Castle Chardonnay, very recently released.
So we are looking for. We're looking for Henry.
For Henry. So we're sending a request to Henry Rival of Simpsons. So when you see it, please.
Or is he under Simpsons?
Simpsons, yes.
Simpsons wine.
There we go.
Invite him.
Excellent.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
You're invited.
And hopefully he'll pop up any second now. Oh, it says you.
Oh, he sent another one.
Oh, hang on.
Very good. Oh, hang on.
There
Hello.
he is. Hi, Henry. How are you?
Good. Can you hear me? Are you all right?
Yes, I can hear you now. Excellent.
Excellent.
How are things?
Excellent.
Are you at the winery or are you at home?
I'm at home at the moment, and thank you very much for having me on tonight to talk about Simpsons and our Gravel Castle. But firstly, I'd like to say what an amazing group of people involved in the wine industry, English wine industry, to have on tonight. I mean, the passion, the experimentation that's going on, there's so much diversity. It's just really exciting to hear, and there's going to be, the future is looking really interesting. And
It is.
so, thank you, for raising money for the good cause. That's a great idea. Because hospitality needs all the help it needs, it can get. But, just talking about our Gravel Castle Chardonnay, it's a 2020, so it's fresh off the block. The Simpsons originally, Charles and Ruth, when they, after having they're running their French domain, the Domaine Saint Rose, for nigh on 20 years now, they decided to set up. They wanted to do another wine project. Young enough and silly enough to do one, so they decided they love English sparkling wine, and they set out to establish vineyards to produce sparkling wine. So originally it was all about sparkling wine, like a lot of producers in England. But when they planted their vineyard on these really special sites they have down in outside of Canterbury, near Barham, beautiful village of Barham, they planted, like a few producers, not only the sparkling wine clones, but also the Burgundy clones. And since then, the sites have seemed to be able to produce some lovely fruit, lovely ripe fruit on the chalk soils. And the Gravel Castle Chardonnay, part of our group of still wines, for me is just that lovely expression of what the vineyard's capable of, these Burgundy clones. It's just about capturing that fruit, bringing it into the winery. What we do with our vineyards, like a lot of producers, is we pick in small patches. We pick the different clones at different times, and we try and keep it as separate as possible, bring it into the winery as quickly as possible. We have these fantastic membrane presses that are very gentle, and we also employ a system called Initus, which involves pumping nitrogen onto the grapes, and this protects the grapes even more from the oxygen in the atmosphere. But what it does, it gives the winemaker a great choice. It gives them options. So we found with the Initus system, it really protects the fruit. You get more of those lovely citrus flavours coming from particularly Chardonnay. That if you don't use it, you get more of the tropical fruit flavours. So we get these parcels of wine or in the winery, some of us really displaying that citrus and some displaying the tropical fruit. And it gives us an option and brings in complexity when you bring those wines together.
Cool.
So the 2020 great growing season, it started nicely, but then we, like a lot of people, we got hit by a series of frosts. You know, we expect 1 or 2 frosts late April. Daryl, the vineyard manager, says, you know, we have one in the second week of April, one in the last week of April. But we had 4 others in May as well. And when it becomes a problem is when we have these atmospheric frosts. It's all very well with a ground frost. You can use, we've been using fans to blow the cold air out. But with an atmospheric frost, it's, you know, hundreds of feet deep. It comes in from the North Sea generally, and there's not much you can do about it. So we suffered some damage, and crops were lower. But the great thing with the lower crops is that the resulting grapes are much more, you know, lower crop, much more intensity, great flavours. The rest of the growing season was very good, nice and steady, and we were really excited when the fruit came into the winery. So as I said, we try to keep the Greville Castle as pure expression as possible. It's pressed gently and fermented in stainless steel. Part of it has gone through malolactic fermentation, so it softens it off a bit.
Yeah.
But with all our still wines, what we're trying to do, and it's been alluded to earlier by other producers, is to build some texture, some generosity, some mouthfeel. Because what we get in England, and we do particularly from our vineyards, we get that lovely fruit. We always get that lovely bracing acidity that keeps it fresh. And it's filling that middle palate, just getting a bit of texture and generosity, as I said. So tasting this wine, the Greville Castle, which is named after a road nearby the winery. A few of our wines are named after roads nearby.
Great name.
The Roman Road Vineyard, which is one of our vineyards, is named after a road that used to run from Canterbury to, well, from the coast to Canterbury. It is now the A2, which is not, doesn't sound as romantic, so we went to put Roman Road.
Sure, don't think the Romans had that in mind.
Well, yes, they're way ahead of their time. I think they probably had a better road system than we did, didn't they?
Yeah.
So we used 2 Burgundy clones, picked different parcels into the winery, nice and fresh. As I said, some of it goes through malolactic fermentation. Spends a bit of time on fine yeast lees in the tank, just sitting there. And again, this helps soften the wine, adds to the texture. So first of all, when you look at it, it's got this lovely sort of green gold colour to it, really quite inviting. Yeah. And then on the nose, what I love is this lovely citrus. There's a chalkiness that comes from the soil, bit of whetstone, I suppose. And then behind that is the tropical fruit that comes in later. And it's just pretty inviting and pretty typical, you know, of a really good cool climate Chardonnay. I think that's you know, expressive of the variety. Then on the
fresh, and it has got some of that generosity, as you say. Really lovely mouthfeel, just and deliciously fresh.
Yeah, and so on the palate, again, you get that citrus and a bit of that tropical fruit. There's a length there. The acidity is refreshing but not aggressive. And this is what's great about in English wines now, the still wines, more and more we're getting used to handling that acidity and managing that. And I think that's what people find attractive now. Whereas, you know, days gone by, it was, you know, wow, that's a bit bracing. We're now able to, with the good sites, you know, the various producers with better sites and managing it. And I think this is what we find in this wine is that lovely, refreshing acidity and a length that just sort of lingers there. And, you know, we've got, you know, I think a few writers, you know, wine writers are now talking about the possibilities of Chardonnay in England and particularly in Kent, and how it's a bit like the sparkling wines. You know, we talk about in England, we're making sparkling wines that the Champenoise used to make 30 years ago. You know, it was that style with the climate. We're making we're starting to make you know, whites and Chardonnays that are very reminiscent of Chablis of 20 years ago, with that lovely fruit and intense fruit, the lovely refreshing acidity. And, you know, for me, this wine is appealing now, but it is going to unfurl and develop in the bottle, you know, like good Chablis. I'd love to see, I can't wait to see this in 2 to 3 years. It develops some of that honeyness, that character, that creaminess that develops. It's got all this, you know, all the makings there, all the ingredients are there. You know, very exciting. And I think, you know, it comes in a screw cap. It's not ridiculously priced. It's, you know, one of those wines that if you can, you know, buy a few bottles, enjoy some of them now, and hide a few of them around your house. You probably, hopefully, you forget where they are, because I have been known in the past of remembering where I've hidden wine, and at 3 in the morning, and you think it's a great idea. I want to try that fantastic wine I've cellared for 10 years and drink it at 3 in the morning and can't remember in the morning what you've drank. So, hopefully you're enjoying the Gravel Castle. We had a wine dinner with our previous vintage with a marvellous little restaurant in Saltwood near Hythe. It's called Hyde and Fox. They've just got a Michelin star. Lovely couple. He's originally from Whitstable, but has chefed at lovely 5-star hotels and restaurants around the UK. And they set up a couple of years ago in a little, used to be a village store. And they've got this fantastic little restaurant. And she's originally from Italy, and they're very dedicated. And we did a wine dinner there, and they served our Gravel Castle with a ceviche of sea bream, local sea bream.
Wow.
Bit of wasabi, bit of buttermilk, and it was just, you know, I really enjoy it. When you work with a chef who's tasted your wines, and they put dishes with those wines, and, you know, we had 5 or 6 courses. It's just a delight when they sing, the wine and the food sings together. It's just, you know, fantastic.
Wow. So we just had a question here. Somebody's asked, how long do we think that the 2020 Chardonnay will keep?
Well, yeah, people ask us all the time. You know, we released our first wine in 2016. We're not sure how things are going to age, but, you know, from our own experience and looking at this wine, you know, certainly 5 or 6 years is fine. Maybe 10 to 12 years. I mean, can't wait to see what it looks like in 10 years' time, how it would. But all the, you know, it's got the acidity, it's got the fruit there. It has the potential to age really nicely.
It shows great promise for aging. It really does.
Yeah.
And the other question I've got, when can we expect the Roman Road to come out?
Well, we've just bottled the Roman Road, and very exciting. The wine guys are really excited about, you know, whereas Gravel Castle is about capturing that freshness, the Roman Road is about using really intense fruit and having some fun with it, and, you know, doing different things with different you know, some of the parcels of it. So they experiment with, you know, oxidization and foot stamping and things like that. So a whole bunch foot stamping. So I had a look at it the other day. It's not ready yet. It won't be, you know, the short answer is it won't be released until probably late May, early June. But having tasted it just after bottling, it's already looking pretty exciting, and it's very, you know, lots of layers. You know, it's one of those layered wines. There's lots of things going on.
We can't wait. We've already got some pre-orders for it.
Oh, great! Oh, excellent. We like that. We want a frenzy. We like that.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Henry.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure, and love watching your videos. And you know, again, it's great to watch two people who enjoy wine, have fun, and love talking about it. You know, and selling
Thank
it.
you very much. I haven't had to do very much talking this evening. Thanks very much indeed, Henry.
All right. Have a great Easter.
Thank you. Take care. Bye. Well, I mean, that's a speed bike, didn't it? It did. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, I have to say that if you liked any of those wines, they're all available on our website, hawkinsfrost.co.uk, and we are actually doing, if you like, if you enter in BEWE as a code at checkout, you get 10% off all the wines we've tasted tonight. So that's a little bit of a special offer, and also you can go to Great British Wine and also to WineGB if you want to donate to the great causes of Hospitality Action and the Drinks Trust. And also there are raffles being held on the Saturday, the 4th of the 4th, Saturday. So if you want to enter those, please do go to Great British Wine and WineGB to show your support for these great causes. But don't forget, it's all heading up for next Saturday. So that the Saturday before Easter, take a photograph of yourself with a bottle of English wine, hashtag BEWE, and put it all over social media, because we've got to push our English wines now. Really promoting. We've got some fantastic producers. We've seen 5 of them this evening, just showing the incredible passion and depth of knowledge and real innovation they've got. How many people do? Really? Oh yes, No, that was us. Me. Anyway, so thank you very much indeed for joining us. Join us next Friday on our normal chat and taste, 6 o'clock in the evening. We will be speaking to Jeff Buckingham of Double Hedges and tasting a couple of his wines, so that'll be fun. Won't be quite as hectic as this one with all the technical challenges, but I think we got through that okay. Yes, Jeff, next Friday, and we're tasting his wonderful award-winning wines. Same wine time, same wine channel. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Thank you very much. Good night. Good night. Bye.